Here we go.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat basement, average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome, but with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio
for about
Show.
5 years now.
Here's Grouchy.
All right, everybody. Yeah, you noticed it too, right? No glass tonight. Why? Well, Rick's off and Seymour is off. Are they together? I don't know. But we'll find out next week. So anyway, it's great to be back with you. It's Wednesday night again. Things are a little bit hectic around here tonight, so you may notice some differences in the way things get done, and that's okay because we're still going to get them done. We're still KLRN Radio, and we're still your home for grassroots conservative talk every Wednesday night. Right after me, you can join me again with the ladies of the Red Wine. I'm going to sit on their couch for a little while and continue the goodness with a big capital G on goodness. And we're going to have some fun chatting with the ladies, and we'll reprieve the, well, I don't know if it's a reprival, but It was Meat of the Week on Bleeping Podcast. I think the Red Wine likes to call them Cabana Boys. I'm good either way. It doesn't matter to me. Just feed me and give me drink, and I'm happy. So anyway, it's been a fun day. The impeachment hearings went public today, and you got to see a wealth of embarrassment. If you have not seen the wealth of embarrassment, you're going to want to look up a couple of things. First of all, you're going to want to look up Jim Jordan and see what he did to them. He absolutely embarrassed people. And it just, what can I tell you? It's Jim Jordan, and that man has fire that you just wouldn't believe in him. Also, you're going to want to find the clip of Representative Mike Quigley of Illinois. Know that he's not down under. He's just in Illinois. This man was actually on worldwide television today from the House chamber during these televised hearings, and he actually said, now get this, okay, that hearsay evidence was sometimes better than direct evidence. And in this case, it was even warranted. Wow. Just imagine what our criminal justice system would be like if we just took hearsay as proof. Can you imagine? I mean, it boggles the mind that these people are elected officials. They are our legislators, and they are willing to dispense with the truth for hearsay, for the sake of expediency, for the sake of not being able to accept the results of the 2016 presidential election, the very same election that their candidate, Hillary Clinton, lectured us about how un-American it would be to not accept the results. It's the same election. 3 years later, they still haven't accepted the results. And I kind of wish Orty was here to do the language disclaimer, because I feel like cussing right now. But I'll keep that shit in check for the most part.
I can do it. If you need a disclaimer, I can do it.
Look, it irks me to no end what these idiots on day one have put forward as their smoking gun to impeach Trump. Jordan, again, was freaking masterful. The way he grilled their star witnesses.
Stop saying irk, G. Let me do the disclaimer for you.
Okay.
The following content may involve, may contain adult language and harsh themes.
There you go.
No children should be allowed to listen. I just added that one.
Hide the children, hide the grandparents, and G's here. Jordan exposed them for being as full of shit as they really are. And it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a lot more of Jim Jordan throughout these proceedings, and I hope we do. I know that Schiff intends to use a lawyer for a large part of their questioning of the witnesses, and that is probably so they don't have to face rebuttal themselves, because they know how full of shit they are. And it is just, again, an absolute farce what is going on in D.C. right now with this quote-unquote impeachment hearing. Now, and make no mistake, they're going to impeach the president. They have to. They have to at this point. If they don't, the only thing that can come of it is Nancy Pelosi will become the most powerful Democrat in the world by turning her back on her party and saying, I told you we did not need to do this. It's that simple. She has an out. She can say her party pushed her, but she tried to tell them not to do it. And I mean, how often can Nancy Pelosi actually sit there and claim, I'm not the crazy one here? Anyway, that was, again, this all started today. So this was not part of the quote unquote scripted part of the program, which, by the way, we're working on getting some promos recorded. You know how I usually give you guys blurbs about what else is going on in the world, but we don't take a deep dive into. Well, we're going to call that segment at the beginning of the show G's Quickies, I think. It's still a working title, but and the slogan will be something along the lines of, when you can't go deep, G's Quickies will still hit the spot. Whatever. Working titles. All good stuff. So anyway, I guess we should probably go ahead and get rolling into the scripted part of the program. Since we don't have any quickies tonight, we just let the impeachment stuff that I had to get off my chest take that time up. Before we get rolling, I want to say good evening to the chat room. I see Jeff, and I see Blog, and I see Orty and Crow and Eric. And good grief, we got a nice crowd in here tonight. How about that? Al's in there. Did Ron pop in? I don't know if Ron's made it or not, but he probably will. I see Mike in there. That's all good. All good. So we're all buckled in and ready to go at a press conference sponsored by the New York Times. Microsoft co-founder and business magnate Bill Gates contradicted Senator Elizabeth Warren's proposed wealth tax and said that if you actually tax too much, there's a risk of curtailing innovation. He also spoke about the importance of philanthropy, explaining that it does what the government can't. Gates said, I do think if you tax too much, you risk innovation in business. The U.S. is a desirable place for innovative companies, and a tax plan like this would put that at risk. So he explained how fortunes come from creating companies that achieve very strong positions, particularly in the technology industry. He said, therefore, you want to incentivize the system to be there. He said, now, this is where I disagree with Gates. He said he's all for super progressive tax systems because he's paid over $10 billion in taxes. And then said if he's paid more taxes than anybody in the United States. And if he had to pay $20 billion, that's fine. But when you say that he should pay $100 billion, he's starting to do the math and see what's left over. And with right, I mean, according to Forbes, Gates' net worth is $106.9 billion. That's 106.9 billion with a B. Gates has donated $35.8 billion to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and is currently working on finding a cure for infectious diseases and leading causes of child mortality in developing countries, among other things, all of which are good things. All are things that we want to see private citizens doing, especially those who can afford to do. But Elizabeth Warren has very different ideas because she thinks that the government would actually make better use of Bill Gates's money than Bill Gates has made of it. But then again, that's the position of Democrats all along. Their philosophy, and they don't come out and say this, but their philosophy is that all money belongs to the government and they should give you what they think you need. That would be the ideal plan for the Democrats. So, philanthropy is a good thing. And 2% of the economy plays a role in philanthropy that neither the private sector nor government are able to do in terms of various approaches to things like malaria and nutrition and irrigation in impoverished and drought-ridden nations. And it's just true. I mean, you see it in they call it the American spirit. Obama chastised us for having it, for thinking that we were good. You don't see this happening in other countries. You don't see billionaires in other countries coming to the United States and saying, you know what, let's solve their homeless problem. No, but we have Americans that go to other countries and solve their homeless problems, or feed their hungry people, or shoe their shoeless people. Where's the effort at home? I saw an encouraging number today that veteran unemployment number is down to like 3.9%. It's a good number. It really is, considering that it was right at 10% under Obama. So, there's a good thing there that's going on. We're getting some of these veterans back to work. We're getting a lot of people back to work across the board. It doesn't matter what their skin color, their ethnicity, their religion is. Every single demographic that is chartable is doing better in employment. And and look, I applaud Gates for what he does with his money. It's his money, and he can choose to spend it on what and where he wants. If he thinks his money's better spent outside of the United States, so be it. It's his money. He made it. I could sit down with him and show him how his money could be applied in the United States and have it, really make a difference here towards the positive. But when Bill Gates was asked if he would want to meet with Elizabeth Warren to discuss her policies on taxes, he said he wasn't sure how open-minded she is, or if she would even be willing to sit down with somebody who has large amounts of money. Now, Warren, not wanting to miss a beat, tweeted in response saying that she would always be happy to meet with people, even if we have different views. If we get the chance, I'd love to explain exactly how much he'd pay under my wealth tax, and she promises it's not $100 billion. So she's trying to be cute, too. And I see Mike in the chat room now, and I see Tina in the chat room now. Good to see you, Doc. And let's see, Bill Gates was actually, say Bill Gates was actually taxed $100 billion. Well, according to presidential contender Bernie Sanders, a self-described socialist who owns 3 luxury homes and draws a nice government salary, which, by the way, Bernie has had. I believe Bernie's been drawing a government salary since the late 60s, or at least the mid 70s, something like that. It's ridiculous. But Bernie Sanders said that if he were to be taxed $100 billion, if Gates were to be taxed $100 billion, then homelessness could end. Does anybody really think that if Bill Gates gave $100 billion to the federal government, that they would end homelessness with it? Anybody? Show of hands. Yeah, me either. But, Sanders said in his tweet that we could end homelessness and provide safe drinking water to everyone in this country. Bill would still be a multi-millionaire. So Bernie says our message is the billionaire class cannot have it all when so many have so little. Yes, Tina, correct. Close the border. I have preached on that for so long now. So long. Don't have these people are allowed, these people are not allowed. Totally shut the border down. Nobody's allowed. Then they can't claim discrimination. So anyway, Bernie's message of the billionaire class not being able to have it all when so many have so little, it's just another reinforcing message of don't you dare make more money than we think you need or we're going to take it from you. I mean, really, that's what it boils down to, people. They want all the money. They want to be in control. How do you control people? You control people by taking their money. You control people by running their health care. You control people by taking away their God-given, constitutionally guaranteed rights. And it's disgusting. And there's actually millions upon millions of ignorant Americans that vote for this because they think, oh, it won't be that bad. And it's got to be better than somebody who talks nasty. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. Thought you'd like to know. And here's something that I bet none of you knew. And if you did, it's because you read the same kind of trash that I read to find good stories that people don't know about. But the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, one of the most prestigious educational institutions in this country, okay, not necessarily one of the best, but one of the most prestigious, is now offering its midshipman students who are interested a study group area so that they can get together and study/practice the teachings of the Satanic Temple. Yeah, you heard me right. A group of midshipmen with beliefs aligned with those practiced by the Satanic Temple requested a space where they could assemble to discuss and share their common beliefs. Now, I know what some of you are thinking already because you're probably thinking a lot like me, but this is according to spokeswoman Commander Alana Garris in a statement that she prepared for the Military Times paper. The Academy has provided a room for that purpose, and the Satanic Temple is an IRS-recognized tax-exempt church. It engages in religious and political activities, most of which reflect a left-wing ideology and individual-centered self-worship. As the temple's tenets state, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. In 2015, well, let's back up a second. The Satanic Temple, first of all, is fittingly based in Salem, Massachusetts. Who would have guessed that, right? And has chapters in 17 states and Canada. The temple was co-founded by Lucian Greaves, and he is the spokesperson for the church even today. In 2015, the Satanic Temple unveiled a large statue of Baphomet, a goat-headed, demonic-looking figure with hooves for feet, whose image has been used in occult practices. There's also two children in the sculpture, a boy and a girl, and they stand on either side of the creature's legs. In June of 2016, the Satanic Temple held a pentagram ritual in Los Angeles County to help support a political candidate. Undoubtedly, they won, knowing Los Angeles, The temple offers an after-school program entitled After School Satan. That's where you'd want to send your kids, right? In January of 2017, they held a satanic mass, apparently to demonstrate its opposition to the presidency of Donald Trump. The mass reportedly included an invocation ritual, a destruction ritual, and a bloodletting ritual. In reference to the group's political activities, Commander Garris further said, "Midshipmen have the right to assemble to discuss their beliefs as they choose. But to be clear, in accordance with Department of Defense policy, military members will not engage in partisan political activities." What does having a ceremony to promote a political candidate do then? They will avoid the inference that their activities may also appear to imply DOD approval or endorsement of a political cause. Now let's just stop here for a second. Well, no, you know what? Let's press on for a minute. The United States Naval Academy Command Religious Program provides for the exercise of diverse beliefs, said Garris. Arrangements are being made to provide the midshipmen with a designated place to assemble, as chaplains facilitate for the beliefs of all service members, a responsibility outlined by Navy instructions. The U.S. Naval Academy was established in 1845. It educates officers for the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps. Some of the Academy's famous alumni, we don't even need to go there. You can look it up if you want to, but as far as I'm concerned, there are only a couple of names worth mentioning of the bunch that they have listed, and it's all not that important anyway. But we need to back up. We need to back up for a minute to the point where they're talking about they have the right to discuss their beliefs as they choose. Yes, they do. In accordance with DOD policy, military members will not engage in partisan political activities. Is supporting a political candidate not a partisan political activity? And certainly holding a satanic ritual to oppose your commander-in-chief, that's a little partisan, don't you think? I mean, really? It's just, and then, you know, how did these midshipmen reconcile their oath to the United States Navy and to the United States, where they take that solemn oath, "So help me God," when they don't believe in God, they believe only in Satan? How does that reconcile? I mean, this you know, it's the same question that I asked back in 2015 when Hillary was a candidate running for office, and there was a group on Twitter called Faith Voters for Hillary. And I simply asked these people, how do you reconcile your faith and your candidate with the murdering of unborn babies? I mean, it's a fair question, don't you think? They proclaim to be faith voters. I asked them how they reconciled their faith with the murdering of babies. They blocked me. It's typical. I expected. It happens. Not a big deal. All right, look, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to wet my throat with this drink I've got over here that I've spared you from listening to. But I promise you will hear my drink clinging in the second half. So do yourself a favor, get your refills, get your butt back in your chair, and be ready to go in, say, about, 2.5, 3 minutes? We'll see you then.
Jumping through some hoops, wanna get my body loose, wanna tell you what to do. I've been running out of bounds like an animal struggling, looking for a diamond. I'm trying, I'm fighting right
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, I guess we're back. That didn't fade very much, but that's okay. We'll take it. And look, again, a reminder, coming up top of the hour, I'm going to hang out with the red wine for a little bit, so you're going to want to do yourself a favor. It's going to be me and Lou to start, and then Jody's going to join in. She promised she won't be too terribly late. Nod, nod, wink, wink. But no, it's all good. We're going to hang out and we're going to do this right. I can see we're rocking the Team No Pants hashtag in the chat room, as we always should. That's a daily thing. That's a mantra, way of life. And okay, so we're ready to roll. Red wine coming up after, and then Martini Shark. Yes, Brad Slager and friends are going to take and fill in for Rick tonight with two incredibly mediocre hours of fun and hijinks. I can guarantee you don't want to miss that. Brad's a good sport, man. He's a trooper. And if I know my team, I'm betting that Orty's going to be in there with them, and I'm betting that Jeff will probably be in there with them, and who knows who else, but it ought to be a lot of fun. So anyway, through these Democrat primaries already, and we're not even really technically in primaries yet, but through the debates, let's go there. Through the debates, Joe Biden has been cast as the moderate of the crowd. Well, apparently Joe Biden is sick of that label, and he says it just isn't so. Matter of fact, Joe Biden told a CNN-hosted town hall in Iowa on Monday night that, quote, "My proposals on education, climate change, healthcare are as radical and change-driven enough as anybody else's plan." Anybody else's plan. He likes to repeat himself a lot. And he often has trouble with, or he says he'll be in the second hour of mediocrity. Backseater, huh? Anyway, Biden is, oh, wow, look at the chat room. Not if you're embracing me, Doc. Not if you're embracing me. The difference, Biden said, I believe, and I don't criticize the other people who don't agree with me, but the idea we're talking about fundamental change in education, fundamental change in the way we deal with healthcare, and fundamental change in the way we deal with the environment, and fundamental change in the way we deal with the criminal justice system. So there's nothing, Biden says. I love this thing about, well, Biden's the moderate. Tell me if tomorrow I was able to change the system like I'm calling for, what do you think history will write? Was it moderate change? He says he doesn't think so. So Joe Biden is casting aside the moderate label, and he wants to be known as one of the extreme kooks like Booker and Kamala and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. Well, there goes any advantage he had. Excellent comment. Hated Biden since Clarence Thomas. My God, you should be on the show with me every week. Biden has just rejected the mantle of moderation completely now and proudly embracing it. He says, and we can get it done. He says it will be hard as the devil. It may take more than 4 years for some of it, but we can get it done by driving it home to the American people and letting them know what we are for. We know what you're for. We already have an idea of what you're for. What you drove down the American people's throats was Obamacare. What a disaster. What a disaster. Look, I was talking to a guy that's a little younger than me. He's actually running for Congressman Bradley Burns' seat right here in my district. This man had to walk away from his job to run for this office. So he's currently jobless. I'm not going to tell you what he did, but it was required of him if he was going to run for office. He had to leave his job. Now, you want to talk about a risk? You want to talk about a guy who's laying it on the line to do the right thing? He has no insurance because he can't carry it forward with him from his job. He said he went on the exchange, and under Obama's plan, he would have a $1,600 monthly charge. His premium would be $1,600 a month, and he would have a $12,000 deductible. That's what they charge a jobless person, a person with no income. Could he qualify for a subsidy? Sure he could. Sure he could. But that's what they drove down our throats. That's what they're for. They're for taking all of our money. They're for repossessing the wealth of America from the people to the government. That's what they're for. Biden goes on to say, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. And you know what? People do know what Trump is. Okay? Is he loud? Yes. Is he boisterous? Yes. Is he obnoxious? Yes. Is he gross at times? Yes. Look at his economy. Look what he's done for every demographic in this country. The jobless numbers don't lie. Wages are up. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. Obama laughed at him before he left office, campaigning for Democrats in general, saying that Trump would have to have a magic wand to renegotiate these contracts and these agreements and treaties and to bring manufacturing jobs back and to get the unemployment numbers down. He needs a magic wand. Well, I guess Trump found his magic wand. But Biden says we have to let the people know who we are. He says we choose hope over fear. There's no fear. What am I afraid of with Trump in office? Nothing. Nothing. You know what does scare me, though? What scares me is that we could actually have somebody in office that is so wrapped up in climate change, and they don't give a damn about the economy that they're destroying. They don't give a damn about the debt. They don't give a damn about the deficit. And I've got my issues with Trump on those matters too, and I've spoken on it, so don't you dare try to point a finger at me and call me a hypocrite. But look, if these weak-ass Democrats get into office, who knows what can happen? Look, any one of these Democrats is going to be worse than Obama bowing to other leaders. You know, they don't know how to stand tall. All they know how to do is, well, never mind. We don't even have to go there. From earlier, yes. Beautiful. Look, Biden says there's a number of things that he's proud of when he was talking about rejecting the mantle of moderation. He said one thing. He said, I think leading the fight to change the culture of how we treat women in America with the Violence Against Women Act. You know, okay, Joe Biden had his name on that, and I will give him credit for that. But look, it's not like he had to fight hard to get this passed. I think there were maybe 12 votes against this, and it was mostly like procedural and language, phrasing of the act in some parts of it. Nobody is against having a Violence Against Women Act. Okay, and that could be his proudest moment, is what he's saying. That's his proudest thing. He said it's about cultural change. You know, Joe, here's the thing. The only culture that practices violence against women is the culture you people protect. You know, he says, I had great difficulty getting it passed. No, you didn't. It passed nearly unanimously. He said he had opposition from women's groups initially because they thought it was going to take the focus off of choice and gender issues. He's lying. He did not have challenges from women's group on this. The only thing that challenged him that was a women's group that said, we don't need this because we're already equals. Now, Biden says another thing that he's incredibly proud of is that every American president, Democratic president since Roosevelt, has tried to come up with a comprehensive plan for health care. He says, well, Barack and I did it. Barack did it, but I helped a lot getting it done. That's what he said. They think the Affordable Care Act is something to be proud of. Socialistic medicine is nothing to be proud of. He also said that he was very proud of the fact that he was able to be the guy who sort of led the effort on the arms control agreement for nuclear weapons with Russia, which this guy is now blowing up, he says. So Biden says, there's a lot of things I've done that I'm very proud of. He's been a part of a lot of things that he's very proud of. Again, Doc, thank you. Why do we need to make crimes crimier? Crimea River? Okay, that's enough of that crap. I can't even, it kills me. It kills me. But look, here's something I wanted to share with you guys tonight from the participation trophy generation. The final score of the football game was 61-13 as the Boys of Fall in Nassau County, New York, left it all on the field. Two undefeated teams heading towards the playoffs, the Plain Edge High Red Devils and the Cyclones of Southside High School, met on the gridiron to battle for the division leadership. Then a fourth quarter touchdown by the Red Devils violated a Nassau County sportsmanship rule designed to prevent dominant football teams from embarrassing lesser programs. And they sent a letter to Coach Ron Shaver and gave him a one-game suspension. The policy? You're not allowed to win a game by more than 42 points. That's right. According to Nassau County's Section 8 Lopsided Score Committee, this is actually a real thing, a Section 8 Lopsided Score Committee, you can win, but not by more than 42 points. Now, if you're like me, that seems like a ridiculous, arbitrary number for an equally ridiculous policy geared to satisfy the participation trophy crowd. Plain Edge Public School Superintendent Edward Salina responded to the committee by slamming the policy and the call to discipline his coach for winning. Salina issued a scathing rant on paper, leaving no doubt about his lack of respect for the decision. And here's what he wrote. I can state for the record that their rule is not working. I am all for treating everyone justly, but it is my opinion that Coach Shaver was done wrong by this group of self-professed experts on sportsmanship. What are you teaching children by saying play fairly, but now you are playing too well? Don't play anymore for the rest of the game. Where's the life lesson? Who appointed these people to run this kangaroo court, being the judge, jury, and executioners? I have knowledge that there are cases in Nassau County where the score was over 42 points and this group took little or no action. You know, it was a good rant and completely on point. I mean, even the opposing coach, Phil Onesto, agreed and spoke on the record defending Shaver. He said, I had spoken to Coach Shaver. I told him I had no issues. It's simply another notch on the belt of sissifying America. And after all, is this a sport or is it a pep club? Inclusion is a word for true athletes attempting to fund higher education through scholarship, or perhaps even make it to a professional league, or is not a word, I should say. Numbing the drive to win isn't helping anyone. There was once a time way back in the dark ages, kids actually had to try out for a team. And that was, you could not make it. You might not be accepted onto a sports team because you weren't good enough. Students without the talent to survive 2-a-day preseason training workouts were weeded out long before the first battle on the field. Cheer squads didn't accept uncoordinated girls. Baseball teams didn't take kids that couldn't catch or hit. Track teams didn't take the knock-kneed pigeon-toed people that couldn't run. Even choir, you have to be able to at least carry a tune in a tar bucket. Everything had a baseline threshold to be met. And not meeting that baseline keeps kids out of the injury zone. Not everyone should don a sports uniform. And the simplest definition of sport is an athletic activity requiring skill or physical prowess and often of a competitive nature. There's no room for participants who can't pass the rigorous athletic requirements, and it's not safe for them to suit up against a stronger, more athletic team. It's especially dangerous in football. There's a reason for conditioning. That's why these teams have managers and physical therapists and specialized coaching for strength and endurance. That's why teams have marching bands and pep clubs and drill teams and flag corps, so interested people can be part of the team process. What's the point of having 40 cheerleaders on the side who can't run, jump, and do splits or even a cartwheel? It's also why you leave your best athletes in the game against an undefeated team, to claim a big win and be the best that day on the field, no matter how many points you rack up. Guess what? It's the other team's job to stop you from doing that. If they can't do their job, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do yours. Coach Shaver's suspension kept him away from his team on its last preseason game against the Lynbrook Owls. By the third quarter, the Red Devils had amassed a 36-0 lead, and they were basically simply forced to perform exactly what the silly lopsided rules committee demanded. They stopped playing their best. Faced with losing another coach, they began a humiliating strategy of punting on first down, taking a knee in the end zone, and humiliating the Owls, as they did not work for or earn any respect from fans in the stands. And the Red Devils were forced to make a mockery of the game to spare somebody's feelings. Coach Shaver handled the absurd one-game suspension with grace, but did get his sentiments out in the public for his team's morale. The spirit of the rule is to prevent better teams from running up on lesser programs and sportsmanship and dignity and all that stuff. I get it. That didn't happen. But as one parent said, beat them, but not too badly, has no place in sports. Now, let me tell you guys a little story. I lettered in 8 different athletics through high school. I was never the best at any of them, but I was that guy that the coaches all wanted on the team because nobody worked harder. I realized I wasn't the best. I knew I had to put that work in to be on the floor, to be on the field. I was good. I was good at everything because I worked hard at it. I was never great. I went on to the military. I played athletics in the military. I represented the United States Air Force Continental United States team against the Asian division of the Air Force and the European division of the Air Force, and blah, blah, blah. I was one of the few selected to play on that baseball team. I was also one of the few selected to represent the Continental United States Air Force basketball team. And I even coached on that team. Never once did I ever think, we have a lead, let's coast. Never once did I think, we're behind, we should just quit playing because they won't embarrass us. I was always taught when you take the field of athletics, whether it's a basketball court, a baseball diamond, a football field, a lacrosse field, whether you're swimming in the pool, whether you're diving, running cross country, doing track and field, discus throw, shot put, javelin, high jump, it doesn't matter. It absolutely didn't matter. It didn't matter if I was on the wrestling mat. I was taught that you give every ounce of everything you have until it's over. If you win, that's fantastic. If you lose, at least you know you gave everything you had. And it showed you where you needed to work to become better. Anyway, that's the show for tonight, folks. If you liked it, you should tell your friends. If your friends like it, you need more friends. But they and you are welcome right here with me every week on KLRNRadio for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. As a reminder, I will be joining the Red Wine shortly. You're going to want to jump over to their feed, and I will see you in chat, I hope. I'm the Grouch. Peace.
Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and just so I can switch over from one feed to another, so you might hear some commercials. Take a little break. Meet us back here. We'll be over on the Red Wine. Thanks for listening, guys. See you there.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
Here's to us, here's to love, all the times that we messed up. Here's to you, feel the grass, 'cause the last few nights have kicked my ass. If they give you hell, tell them go fuck themselves. Go fuck themselves. Here's to us, here's to us, here's to us. Here's to us, here's to love, here's to everybody will. Here's to us, here's to love, here's to us. Here's to us.